Ladies and gentlemen, there was a drone attack on the Kremlin. And at first, they accused Ukraine. Ukraine has denied it. Now, Russia is saying the US is behind the whole thing. So, this just came out a few minutes ago. Russia says US was behind Kremlin drone attack, drawing quick denial. Russia accused the US on Thursday of being behind what it says was a drone attack on Moscow's Kremlin intended to kill President Vladimir Putin, a day after blaming Ukraine for what it called a terrorist attack. The Kremlin administration shifted its focus onto the US, but without providing evidence. The White House was quick to reject the charge. Ukraine has also denied involvement in the incident that happened in the early hours of Wednesday when the video footage showed two objects flying and approaching the Senate palace inside the Kremlin walls. One exploded, and you can see that in the picture. You can see that right there in the picture with a bright flash. Attempts to disown this, both Kyiv and in Washington, are, of course, absolutely ridiculous. We know very well the decisions about such terrorist attacks are not made in Kyiv, but in Washington. This is what one of called him Putin's spokesman, Dmitry Peskov. Okay, that's what he is saying. So he said the US was undoubtedly behind the incident and added again without stating evidence. The Washington often select both the targets for Ukraine to attack, and they're saying they selected this attack. Washington did. Mm-mm-mm. This is also often dictated from across the ocean. In Washington, they must clearly understand that we know this, Peskov said. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby told MSNBC television the Russian claims were false and that Washington does not encourage or enable Ukraine to strike outside its borders. Okay, well, who sent those two drones to hit the Kremlin? Okay, so you're saying this is a mysterious third country that no one knows about? And y'all, those were direct hits. So you can tell it was an intended target. This was definitely no accident. So Russia has said with increasing frequency that it sees the United States as a direct participant in the war, intent on inflicting a strategic defeat on Moscow. The United States denies that, saying that it is arming Ukraine to defend itself and retake territory that Moscow has seized illegally in more than 14 months of war. However, Peskov said the allegations went further than the previous Kremlin accusations against Washington. Putin was not in the Kremlin at the time, and security analysts have poured scorn on the idea that the incident was a serious assassination attempt. But Russia said it reserves the right to retaliate, and hardliners, including former President Dmitry Medvedev, have said it should now physically eliminate Ukrainian President Zelensky. Peskov declined to say whether Moscow saw Zelensky as a legitimate target. So We shall see what happens in the coming days or weeks on this, how Russia is going to respond to this direct attack by two drones on the Kremlin. So now Putin was not in there on Wednesday when this happened, but they said on Thursday he was in the Kremlin and his staff was there and they were working. So the incident took place less than a week before Russia's May 9th Victory Day celebrations, marking the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, an important public holiday and an opportunity for Putin to rally Russia behind his calls for Russia's special military operations in Ukraine. Peskov said air defenses would be tightened, and this was happening anyway for the military parade in Red Square, a centerpiece of the holiday, just over the Kremlin wall from the site of the alleged attack. He said the parade would go ahead as normal and include a speech from Putin. So we'll see what happens. Everybody's in denial, but Russia is very firm on saying the US did this. They did this attack on the Kremlin. And, over the last several weeks, I did hear about assassination talk around Putin. Now, you know, they did not want Putin going to South Africa. I know Zelensky was telling South Africa not to let Putin visit there and all that stuff, and ultimately I think Putin decided not to go. But y'all, tell me what you think about this. We shall see, you know, and we have seen things happen and then the response is nothing. We've seen that as well. But we're keeping our eyes on quite a few things when it comes down to Russia with BRICS and their new currency, which is like months away from coming out. And now this attack on the Kremlin, they said these were drones. And right now, Russia is very adamant that this was the US behind these drone attacks on the Kremlin. But I have to see how the US is going to respond, and I will let you know and keep you updated. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.